It's such an honor to be part of this symposium. It's a really fantastic event. Thank you, Dale, for organizing it and inviting me to be part of it. I'm going to read a short thing that I didn't write that was written by David Wojnarowicz from the Waterfront journals, actually, which was written before the AIDS crisis, and was not the first thing that I read by David Wojnarowicz. I don't, for most people, sort of know him from Close to the Knives, which is like the classic book, but which I did read first. But when I read this, it really struck me. I got a much clearer sense of the personality and the imagination that then was confronted by the AIDS crisis. And it's sort of in a holiday spirit, and I felt like Christmas is coming. So this is a short piece called Man on Christmas Eve Along the Rainy Hudson River, 3 a.m., New York City. I don't know if you can understand this, what you might feel about this, but I want to box with you. Get the sense of us both in the room, boxing gloves tied over our hands, our clothes off, and naked, boxing with each other. I don't mean S&M. I'm not into giving pain to anyone in that sense. I don't want anyone who could be dominated either. I want that sense of resistance and yet simultaneously of submission. I want it to be a trade-off of blows. First, you punch me in the chest, and then I'll give you a right hook to your chin, a slam in your chest, blow for blow, maybe occasionally jerking each other off, maybe going down on each other. I want to do this with you, but I have to know that the idea would turn you on. You have to have a sense of the eroticism inherent in two men trading punches, the line being drawn at defeat. See, I'm not interested in beating the shit out of you, and I'm not interested in being beaten up myself. Like, I can't see either of us being dominated by the other. That would break the whole sense of us as men. I'm not attracted to these leather guys with SS uniforms. They're screaming queens anyway. I have no desire for uniforms or images of that sort. These guys who are into masochism are under the impression that it's psychically as well as physically gratifying, but really all they are doing is warping their psyches, because a person cannot be continually dominated without that sense invading and overpowering his entire life. A masochist in sex will eventually withdraw in all other activities. He will eventually be so moved by the sense of dominance that he will suffer. He will never fully be what he is capable of being. I first got it on in the army. I was an MP, no big deal. I mean, there was nothing great about it image-wise, but I got it on with other MPs who happened to be as young as me, and who happened to be handsome, and who weren't neurotic. I mean, they were guys who got it on with men and women and even animals, I guess, small-town farm boys who were filled with a highly charged desire that found its escape through any form of simple sexual contact. Look at that. There's probably nothing more lonesome than being a drag queen out in the rain hustling cars along the West Side Highway on Christmas morning. See, most of the guys I meet out here in the city only want to be fucked. It's ridiculous. They come home with me and flop over on their bellies and want me to ram it up their asses. Now, I like to fuck, but when I fuck a guy, I want to feel that I'm fucking masculinity, that the guy beneath me is a guy who has a sense of himself as a man. That's why fucking in a standing position is so great, because one guy isn't on top of the other. There's no sense of dominance or submission other than what's always involved in one body penetrating another, but that can be absolved by trading roles so that both men are equal in each other's eyes. I tell you though, even these toughs you meet along the river, they put on these hard mannerisms and tell you they want to fuck you, but as soon as you get into bed with them, they change their minds. They take one look at you, and if you happen to have a big cock, they want it up their asses. I don't mean to say there's something wrong with being fucked. When I was younger, I wanted to get fucked all the time, but it was doing something to my head because it was so one-sided. There wasn't the necessary opposite force involved. So, now that I'm getting older, I find I have less sex because I'm choosy. I don't often find guys who will get turned on to the idea of an equal trade-off of force, like that which is involved in boxing, naked, with boots and gloves on and nothing else. It's hard to meet a guy who will do it this way. I mean, I don't have any kind of uniform to attract the kind of guy I desire. I can't get into wearing hankies or visored caps or whatever, but I feel attracted to you. But you'll have to make up your mind if you can get into this scene. I realize it's selfish because it's basically my fantasy, but that's all I'm interested in exploring. Because the form of it, as I explained, will only make us stronger. We'll both be driven to extreme points, but it will be equal and simultaneous. Who's the next